Alright, hello everyone. It is January 7th, 2026. I'm coming to you on Tuesday. It is my update about what's been happening in my life and school for the last year and an outlook forward into 2026. So I have quite a bit today. This will cover the last 4 months of school and then going into next year what is expected to happen. So it was a very eventful fall of 2025. The whole year was a lot. I'm happy to be done with it. Let me check something. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay. Looks like it's that microphone. So anyway, looking forward into the new year. A lot has happened. 2025. My sister got married, so now I have a new brother-in-law, and then that was September. Let's see, my uncle passed away. That was December, and then next month there's going to be a lot. There's one of my uncle's 50th birthdays, and then my other uncle's celebration of life, so there's always something happening in terms of family social events. There's a lot been happening with school as well, I think, and video games and all that, so I'll get to that in a minute, but let's see what we have on the agenda. First off, we can go over school, because the year was a lot, so to close that out and kind of give a status report on how that went. We have Buzzport, so I was looking at selling notes for one of my classes. So if we look at that for the year, the notes here, we're looking at 23,000, almost 24,000 words. So those will be probably a good hit with other people. We sell them through OMS Central, and then if you see OMS CS Notes, we have these. It doesn't have AOS. So if you look at this, the courses, reworks, just as an update, looking at about a 55% pass rate, A or B, and what did I do? Advanced operating systems A, and then so that was this year for these 4, which was a lot. That's 40% of the degree in a year, so I'd be looking at 2.5 years if I did it at that rate, but it was not fun. And then this one, in addition, this one I wrote 37,000 words. This one, 27,000 notes. In a weekend, I wrote 1,500 words, 1,000 words in a day, 1,400 in a day, and then edited it. And if you look at that rate, that's over 365,000 words in a year. And it was on the weekend, so it's pretty much every day it would be at a 7-day work week. So that would be Harry Potter. The full series is about 1.2 million words. So that would be a quarter to a third of all the books in 1 year. So it'd be like 4 years to get all the books cranked out from the random rate, kind of higher peak rate of writing for a science technical report. I actually do have that available in case you wanted to take a peek. project 2, it was about barriers. So, let's see what we got. The thing is all lined up, but I had to get like 100 data points to look at barriers. Let's see, you have different performance comparisons, how things scale. I think it has like 8 graphs. So anyway, it is 17 pages. So that took 2 days for a weekend. Because it was putting together data, and that's one of the 4 projects for this class. You can see here 4 projects. Project 4, I wrote 1,500 lines of code in a week, so it was a lot to do. And then for the class, I got like a C on the first paper because I didn't, or the first test because I didn't do the readings, and then I had to work a lot more. And then if you look at the readings, it's like this is all the readings. There are however many, a lot. So that's optional, but this is like one subsection, one section, and then there's all these that there are to do. It was about 100 pages of reading for an exam, so I wound up reading about half a banker's box, 250 pages or more, for a couple of tests. It was like a month of finals because of how the schedule worked, where it was study for one exam, 100 pages of reading, practice problems, and then beyond that, let's see, so many papers. Beyond the 100 pages of reading, and then the 1,500 pages of code for the project 4, and then another 100 plus pages of reading for the final exam, all within a month. So that was a lot. Fortunately, I knew this class was easier that I took at the same time. It was like 2 days every other weekend, so 2 days every 2 weeks is what it came out to. It was almost all project based, and then some quizzes based on lectures, and the readings were just what the lectures were typed out, like the notes. So those paired well. So if you're taking this class, it would be good to take this class at the same time. They fit together pretty nicely. But I wouldn't suggest taking more than 2 at a time, because I took 2 classes at a time for spring and fall, and for fall I had to prep a month and a half for this class and this class, and I did pull off 2 A's, but I was expecting kind of 2 B's or a mix of A's and B's, so that will help for marketing. But I kind of squeaked by. It's like 89.9, and then they round up and add a %. So people didn't even do the survey, but they still added a %. They wanted 85% completion of the survey for the number of students, but they only got to 82, but then they still added a %. So it's like right on the edge, which is ideal because it's not overshooting. It overshot the B because I wanted to pass. I was looking at passing, but I worked a lot more after the first test, and that kind of was a validation of the notes working, because I didn't read any of the papers. I just read my notes from the lectures. So that would be a summary of the overview of the papers, because the lectures are overviews of the papers, and then the notes are a summary of the overviews. So anyway, I'm looking at selling those in summer. It is not summer. I have to do another class before then. This one, looking at taking notes for that. Already started outlining that. It's about 17 hours, but that's like a third of the total time to study or take the notes and watch the lectures, because they're just reading mostly. 30 of these sections, so that would be like 30 days, but there's 110 days or so in the semester, so that's fine. Anyway, so I am over halfway done. 2 years. This year's like a cool down, slow down this year. Looking forward to any of this because I have plenty going on with class. So anyway, that's been going well. And I did get a preliminary confirmation from the head TA. That I can sell the notes, so that's good. And then if you look here, there's another person who's doing private lecture videos and making sales too for one of the harder classes again. So they should let me, and then that's the harder kind of permission to get, because the other person is the person who set up this website. And it's very likely that Mr. Slinker will be able to work with me, or I'll be able to work with him rather, Seattle, in order to sell the notes, because if you look here, he's worked with other people to get notes, and that's an attractive class to get notes for because it's like a 55% pass rate. So I have a good feeling about that. And then, let's see, so that is kind of the academic update in terms of where I am with the degree. 4 classes left, 2 years, 1 in spring and fall, 1 class each spring and fall for the next 2 years. Kind of cool down year. Last year was a lot. 7-day work week, probably 6 to 8 hours a day to get through it. Evenings off, kind of whatever it is, some family events like the wedding. It's important to be at my sister's wedding, so she actually married someone from graduate school too. He's semi-famous. Has millions of YouTube followers, something views. I don't know, I'll have to look this up. I haven't looked at any of this. So that's him. 25.4. That seems pretty good. Yeah, he's like top in the world, top 10 or something for the US. Something nuts. Anyway, so they met at Cal Poly, married at home. They live in the condo in the backyard that my dad built because he likes building things. And they can build that, and there's a housing crisis, and looking for a house and doing things that make sense for being married. Anyway, so that just happened. And then Christmas, we had a lot of gifts. I got some Yanayamas. So, spoiler. That's 1, level 1. These are expensive though, they're like $20. I guess they might get less expensive as you get better at them. Whatever. And on number 2. This one's a little trickier. Practice this one as much. It's got more twists and turns. There we go. It's alright, it's alright. It's only level 2. Ta-da! Okay, so those are fun. What else have we got? We got this. What is this? Oh, it's so amazing. It's like a dolphin or something. It's actually all-in-one deep tissue massage. Works well with like a neck roller. I have the one that's spiky. It's like an advertisement. You can do it like this, like this. You can do it like that. Works really well. Pretty loosened up a lot. The neck. It's pretty durable, so you can keep using it. Got some shirts. Got a hoodie. A couple of hoodies I wanted. It's like, oh, a hoodie. It's like, no, these are special hoodies that are fancy. Like this one that is elephant. So that's why. I think this one. So that's fun. And then the other one. See if I can find it next couple minutes or something. So this is a fun brand. What is it? Here we go. Oh, it looks like this one, but it's not this one. So it kind of looks like this one. Let's see if it has a similar one. That's this one, Protocol 0. So I got that one. Anyway, kind of a computer one. So you can have those to wear outside. It's kind of between formal and fun and useful. Anyway, what else did I get? Some books, understanding video game music. So, this, which is fun. Some music's important for the mood. How the game works, different events, get signaled. Anyway, going into gaming, I did buy some new games and play some games. So we do games. This is a gaming channel, so this is why I'm not online because of school, but maybe hopefully in the near future, then maybe even before the degree's done. Not likely, but maybe be able to be back to stream. 27 games played, more than last year. 177 achievements unlocked. 24% with the controller, that's pretty much Steam. Hearts of Iron was played game. Victoria 3, then Suzerain. Which is actually like a surprise hit. I was surprised that the game was so good. It's accurate to the real world with politics and put into the executive office of like a country, but it's not a major superpower, but it's still a country, and then they have to maintain sovereignty and then deal with different crises, and depending on like culture, what they can implement or not with laws or how they can change the country, but it takes time. The economy's bad, so oh, that's wonderful. Steam Meeting 11, Steam Meeting 4. I did not play games as long as other people though, for days straight. 13% new releases, just right about standard. Recent favorites. Classic games. Anyway, that all kind of tracks pretty closely. You are what you play. Resource management, Metroidvania, grand strategy, visual novel. So that's pretty much Suzerain. That is earned too. Hearts of Iron 4 is a complex, yes, but so is 4. So I was so close to getting my Crusader King achievement, but I didn't because I just made a couple mistakes, or the game kind of changed differently from where I thought, but it was really close in terms of taking over Africa, but not completely whatever winning. So there's a couple of changes I have to make that would improve the outcome, coming even closer. I think I played this 14 times. I'm like number 14 or so per attempt, but probably by 20, definitely I'll have that achievement, because it's just been kind of cycling. It takes 3 hours to kind of set up, and you set it up differently, and then it's not like you can just save it and then roll it back and save it, because of how you have to set it up from the beginning. So 3-hour cycle time. Victoria 3, right? So I played France and Italy, and then got some achievements there. Suzerain, that was a good one. Got that pretty recently, just this fall. So you are filling the shoes of the president of the country of, what is it? Somaliland or something. Somaliland, Swordland, that's it. Crusader Kings 3, Kings of the 7th Generation, so I can kind of get pretty much all the achievements there, but I don't, it's kind of like that I can play the game more, but it's diminishing returns. I don't know how much I'm getting out of that game anymore. EU5, just started playing that because it came out in November. It took a little while to figure out how to set up the game so I could get achievements, because if you just start a game, it doesn't allow or enable achievements from how you play it, so you have to set up the game specially so that you can do achievements. But that went well. It's highly similar to EU4 with how some of the game mechanics work, so I can start ahead of a lot of people if they haven't played earlier games in the series. Just with like, what's something, Tiplo, annex of subjects, so that's like common, but that's kind of like tricky in terms of how to do things. Anyway, it has a bunch of like tricks associated with it. So a lot of the playtime was towards the end of the semester, and then after end of the semester and after. It's been a busy year. I didn't have a lot of time to play games. Quarter of the time on Steam Deck. And then Steam Deck, these are the games I played. Till was back, I didn't think I'd play that, but it was kind of back just for a new game to mix it up. These are the games I played and when I played them. So if I don't feel good or whatever, I want to win something, I'll just play a game and get stickers. So anyway, I'll be back maybe in 2 years. Be better than ever when I'm back. Better than ever at Hearts of Iron. That might be a good one to stream. That one's complicated. How many hours do I have on that one? 268.6. So that one takes a little more time to get up to speed than Total War, but it's a good game. You have to manage which DLC to use and all that, but still. Let's see, Beyond Gaming. A good book you might want to read if you're into gaming is this one, Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America. So you can see how with that book Mario was invented and initially released as an arcade game when there were still arcades in the country, and then they were shipping to the Northeast, New York, and then they shifted to the West Coast, and then had to modify a bunch of game consoles, game cabinets to switch to Mario to sell, and that each character's 3 colors palette, and they made the game music more important to help sell the game. Had to do some tricks to get that to work, so just how that whole setup happened with Nintendo, because they sold like $10 million, $100 million worth of Mario in the first year, or something nuts. So it was a card dealer, so small time kind of board game card dealer, like how they were treating card games, collectible card games, and then that's what Nintendo originally was for a good 50 years before video games, and then Mario kind of set them off on this whole other direction towards a video game company. They kind of took off from there. So that's an interesting kind of narrative. It gives a story and background with people and kind of the situation surrounding Mario and how it became Mario's like the most recognizable video game character, and how Nintendo became a mega corporation and all that. So that's a good one to read if you are looking at video games, like playing video games. Let's see what else. This is good to have on your phone for your county, your area, traffic control. So things like power outages or traffic control or flooding or whatever comes up. Anyway, another good book to have is this one, Management 101. It's important as like a primer to give you management info about how the managers are supposed to deal with people, employees, because pretty much everyone has a manager at work, and then a lot of people become managers, so that's good to have for life skills, especially once people start going to work for a living, like everyone does. What else? So I am happy with this degree so far. It has been going well. Make a deal here for the notes. Like I said, start taking notes for this class. 23,000 words plus 37,000 is 60. So 60,000 words past year, fall and year and 4 months, plus the other 3 classes, plus other work in those classes. So it was a lot. People don't really tend to write a novel in a year. Novels 60 to 8,000 words, and these are all technical science papers, so it's a lot. To do the degree in 2.5 years would be a lot, so that's why I have to, it ramped up, and then kind of the main class is this one and this one for the degree, top 3 in the world for computer systems, operating systems, that's specialization. And this one was a core class, so it was tough but good because I can sell the notes or have the notes. And then this one, so it's a lot of concurrency, parallel programming, distributed systems, operating systems, all kind of critical information for computer scientists or software developers as their career moves forward beyond like a single developer programmer, working with teams, coordinating the teams technically, so coordinating their technical products and development, which is kind of a system architect role, which is past senior software developer. So a parallel programming and concurrency and distributing system components and systems and services across multiple computers or parts, how to break that up or spread it, kind of distribute it, is critical for higher level development. So to move up, these are really good classes to take. And then this one was good for a background on software development and kind of the methods and context of building software. And then this one's another one that's software development, that's kind of building applications and breaking the system into pieces. It's useful. This one, testing, about half the time spent on testing. So that one's good because it helps show ways to different tools you can use or ways to work with testing and debugging code, because that's like half the work a lot of the times with like more mature, larger scale projects. This one was about internet systems, so how to distribute systems across the internet and how that can work, and kind of more technical papers and reports, but writing them more than reading them. This one was reading a lot of technical papers and reports, because we did make one paper for this class that I showed you, but there were another 3 projects that kind of just had a 1-page readme, but a lot more code. Intro to Information Security, that one jumped around a lot, but it was a good technical perspective review of security, which is what you'd expect from the school, because they don't explain kind of the people or social side. Social engineering is a good half or more of security, a way to work in security and prevent or attack, manipulate, target systems or whatever. So half of it's probably social engineering, or even a little more than half. Open source intelligence, kind of manipulating people, whatever. But otherwise, the technical half has a good kind of coverage, overall overview from this class. But you have to know a lot of different disparate skills, like it has JavaScript and Python and Java and SQL. So more and more Wireshark, different technologies and skills. It's a diverse set of skills that they want you to have for that class. So not a lot of hand holding. Anyway, that is why I have been too busy to do my games. for the most part, for the Total War streaming, but should be able to be back later and maybe do some Attila or Pharaoh. I don't think there's a Pharaoh streamer. I did play some Pharaoh, but there was like a crash. It's like a lot of work, and then 5 hours in, there's like a crash they set up where people start messing you up, and you have to have played the game differently from the beginning, or kind of known things from before. So Attila is a lot. There is going to be a new Medieval 3 and Warhammer 40k, so that will come out in time, but there's a lot in Pharaoh, or Thrones of Britannia, or even Total War Rome 2, or Napoleon, or like I said, Attila to deal with before then. Let's see. Just switch to some other games for like flavor to show some other achievements. Tends to be overlap. Getting better at some of these games makes you better at all of them. So it's like core skills, like reading and writing and arithmetic or math or whatever for school. It's like it goes up across the board with strategy or critical thinking or objectives or whatever, planning. So that's going on. I do have E5. Anyway, yeah, it's been hard to get out. Look at my website. I did make some updates. Paper that I made, I posted on here from a year ago. This is a good paper to read if you want. I'll post it in the link, because I haven't posted it yet, but I'll put it on YouTube as a link. It has, I don't know about the system I developed or suggested, but there's a lot of good information about the video game industry and kind of how the game companies are set up here, and kind of some common issues. So even if you just play games that, they come out but they're buggy or whatever, kind of the theory or policies behind them coming out. This survey that's useful because it said over 75% of respondents thought that the video game development process could have been easier and managed better. So, it's hard to make games. So there's a lot of good kind of statistics. The video game industry is now the largest entertainment industry, and video games are notoriously difficult to manage and produce, with only 20% of all video games turning a profit. So, it's good to give a background on video games. I'll have to include this as a link for this video. It's taken a long time for me to put this up on my website, but it is there now. It's been on LinkedIn for about a year, but I haven't had time to put it on my website and kind of clean up my website because I haven't had time for a lot. It's school, kind of some social events, so make sure to post this. It's good for information to like over research if you have a survey or if you want to make money from surveys. You're some demographic, especially students. You get paid, $5 for 20 minutes or something. Fill out a survey. for whatever, that you play video games, that you watch a television show, that you read a book, or some kind of student, or whatever. I've worked in whatever industry at whatever role, as whatever. So it's a good way to make money or source survey participants. If you're looking at that for maybe a class or some kind of research for work. I was actually going to use Amazon Automated Turk or whatever it's called, but they said no. So then this actually was a better option. They said that that's not what it should be used for, and then this had a better reach in terms of demographics and how to set it up, and then it works really well with SurveyMonkey. It can be directly linked to SurveyMonkey surveys, and then check that it's complete with how they set it up to integrate those. So you might have to get a SurveyMonkey subscription, but those are relatively cheap, especially if you do more than one survey. And then it does cost money for this. Per survey, it's like you just set it to $1, $3, $5, whatever you want, to pay the people for how much time they spend on the survey. So it was 22 questions. It took like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and $3. So that's a pretty good rate per hour. Be like $20 an hour or something. So it's a good way to make these surveys or take surveys if you want to make some side money. Anyway, that is kind of my update for 2025. I'm glad the year was over. Like I said, it tends to be hard to learn concurrency. Parallel programming is kind of tricky, not intuitive. You just have to do a lot of reading and examples and practice problems or projects. So that is where I've done this past year. Going forward, it's half course load, and then the class is supposed to be a little easier, so kind of a cool down year this year, and then it's a little harder next year. But I should have more time for other projects or whatever, just like with GitHub. I haven't had time for a whole lot because it's all been schoolwork, and then beyond GitHub, LeetCode or whatever, I had time for very much because it's been a lot of programming and reading papers and writing papers and all that. Kind of be back with some of that. So hopefully get 100 days this year is my goal, 2026. So that is where I'm headed. 2026, the two classes that I am looking at taking are this one, 2.61 difficulty, which is less. Just kind of the sequel to software development process. It's team projects again. We make a Pokemon battler application, so you can battle Pokemon against an AI, and then you can scale it up to train an AI to run millions of battles and train an AI with like reinforcement learning or something, where they win the battle and then they get points to train an AI. So that's a method that researchers and developers use to train AIs. And then this one is supposed to be really easy. Has a pretty high rating, digital marketing, because I haven't taken a marketing class, and that would be useful because a lot of the income, the revenue for internet companies is through marketing. So if you look at Google, it's ads, people posting ads, sponsoring their links, and then search engine optimization, and then same thing with Facebook. It's powered by ads, paid for by ads to people that can get really specific market segments, demographics from how Facebook has all this information about users, or ages, or what school they go to, or male, female, or whatever. So it has a lot of user information, so you can target ads really easily. So ads are really important for powering the internet. That was kind of the original pay structure or business model to have digital advertising. So all the services are free, but then there are ads on the platform that are kind of targeted, and then those ads pay for everything. And they're attractive because you can really target certain demographics, or that a lot of people can see it with like search engine optimization, that you have millions of views from these major search engines or service providers. Anyway, so it'd be good to see what kind of those marketing campaigns look like and how they're set up and deployed and all that. So let's see what this says. Yellow Jackets named to the Forbes 30 under 30 list. They keep having a lot of people for this list. So it's 10,000 candidates. 6 of them made it out of 10,000. 600 honorees. And 6 people in Georgia Tech. Yeah, they have a lot of people. They're usually 30 under 30 though isn't always a good list, because sometimes the people are cash grab people or bubbles or con men or whatever, con woman. Anyway, this is an exciting space with the video games. Expect things to keep progressing here. Things take time, so again, if it's under 200 hours for a game, don't sweat it. Some of these games take hundreds of hours to even get confident at. There's a lot going on surrounding the video games with development with this. There might understand video game music book, or the How Nintendo Conquered America Super Mario book. So there's always it's always good to know kind of context. So yeah, I encourage you to read this. I'll leave this link in the notes, and I think that is it for today. So yeah, I've been busy with this kind of whatever 27-page paper, 22 question survey. I had a month to make this. So the survey took a week, a little less than a week to make, 22 questions. Got these results that are, I think, are outstanding, but you can't always, hit like the gold with, jackpot with some of these papers. It's when it's a hobby, so I leaned on the hobby, and they expect that at kind of the super elites, MIT or whatever, that your hobby overlaps largely with what your degree is. So your hobby could be like microelectronics, or robot cars. I think is one that I know someone went to like Caltech or something, or doing like circuit boards or motherboards or kind of those kinds of things. Kind of that your side project or hobbies overlap heavily with, largely with the schoolwork or what you can research, and then the people tend to go to grad school. So leaning on the hobby helped. It's something that's been in articles for years. I used a specific example from Cyberpunk 2077. So if we look at that, here we go. Initial need finding. With this basic understanding of the video game development stakeholders and production process, we can now begin to analyze the situation where the current industry standards and best practices fall short. The most common problem situation for video game development arises from scope creep, leading to crunch, which drives up expenses and results in buggy, incomplete, delayed, and unsatisfactory game releases. The development and release of a major AAA video game, Cyberpunk 2077, will serve as a recent example to illustrate these points. So you can't always kind of have a win with some of these, identifying the problem and then a solution. Solution might or might not work, but there is probably a solution that would improve the situation. Maybe not this one, but it's good to know what the problem is and assess it and kind of figure out how common it is or the magnitude, like how much money is getting spent wrong or whatever. So I think that the paper is a success for that, if the system works or not or whatever. So just for awareness, and then also kind of the awareness right around here, like what the different actual services people use, like Figma or Jira, GitHub, Google Drive, YouTube, that all these kind of tend to come up at work as ways to assist or manage a development process for software, not necessarily game software, but any kind of software. So it's good to be familiar with something like Jira or GitHub or Figma. Those are kind of common standard tools, so it's good for that kind of information too. So I'll put this paper link from my website and it's on Google Drive to the notes for this video, and I think that's about it. It's about 10:10, so we've had a good hour here. I look forward to giving you another update after this semester, most likely. Again, this is like a cool down year, so expect the workload's half or a little less than half, because last year I was kind of mildly impacted, counting the days for each semester, working a month and a half ahead for notes for lectures and notes for classes in fall. So it's just been a lot in the last year. So I'd like to thank you for joining me, and hope to see you in 4 months with my next update. Thanks. Bye.